Stitchy friends, welcome to Cross My Stitches. My name is Jackie and this is my channel about cross stitch and wool applique and punch needle and quilting and all the other kind of crafty things, mostly cross stitch. Today is December 12th, 2025. So we're about 2 weeks out for Christmas. Oh boy, this year has totally flown by for me. I'm a week late in videoing. I normally try to do it every 2 weeks unless I become ill. And last week I was away on a girls' getaway. So I had to put off my video for a week. Several women that I know that belong to different stitching groups in Kentucky, we got together and decided to rent a house for the weekend. And we did that way early out. So we had planned this all along. And we had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time. We spent the weekend in our jammies, cross stitching and laughing and cooking and doing all the things for those few days that went by oh so fast. And we had a wonderful time. So I was there last week, from Friday till Sunday. I went up with my bestie and we had a great time and it was absolutely fun. So I look forward to doing it hopefully again next year with them. I am doing another retreat coming January, which is in our area, which is in Berea, Kentucky. So it's about a 40-minute drive for me. And it's a weekend one as well. It's a no frills retreat, which means you're just coming to stitch. There are no gifts, there are no exchanges, there's no nothing, just stitching at a beautiful historic hotel in Berea. So I'm looking forward to that next month. And I have been doing some stitching, so I don't have nearly as much stitching as I normally have because I've been kind of concentrating on just a few things. I did start some new things, so I have 3 new starts since last time you saw me because I'm still on my start-itis. And I worked on 3 other whips. I have 2 finishes. I have 1 fully finish. And then I've got a bunch of stuff all around me. I've got every light on, trying to make enough light in here because middle of winter, cloudy, sun's not that great, and my hair just keeps poking me in the eye here. I don't know which hair's doing it, but there's a hair poking me. Anyway. So I got lights everywhere, trying to get light enough in here so that we can video. And of course, I'm not facing my cabinets again. I'm facing the wall. This may be the last time you see this wall like this because I'm putting in a quilt wall, which is a wall you put in that you can put your quilt blocks on to rearrange and stuff. I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for that, but I have no idea what it is. But my husband's going to put that up for my birthday, which is in a few weeks. So if I'm lucky, he'll get that put in before then, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But he's promised he's going to take me over to Lowe's. We're going to pick up, it is a foam insulation board. They're 4x8s. It'll take 2 of these on this wall. And then I'm going to have to find some fabric to put on it. I'd like to use a micro fleece fabric that's in the long, which I think is a 108. And so I may have to drive down to Corbin, Kentucky. We have a fabric store there that is like a warehouse fabric store, and I'm hoping they will have what I need, and I'll be able to buy enough to cover the wall, and I'll be able to start putting my quilt blocks up because I have 2 quilts going, and it's impossible for me to get on the floor to lay out quilt blocks to see where I want them. I really need the wall. If I get on the floor, I'm not getting up, okay? It's just not happening. So hopefully I'll get him to put that up for me and I will be a happy camper. I got a new iPad for Christmas, although I already have it. He's given it to me. And I'm not filming on that. I'm filming on my old one because I haven't got my new stand yet for the big one because I bought the regular size one with a lot more memory than my mini has. So, and that was the give me on the sizing because minis, if you get the maximum, which I think is 512 gigabytes, the minis are so much more. It's like $200-300 more expensive than the large ones. And since my eyes are getting really bad, I felt like, okay, I'll just get the regular sized one. It's a little heavier to carry around, no big deal. And then I'll have the memory I want and I won't have to put out as much money. And how we decided to do this instead of him just buying me an iPad. When you shop at the iPad store and you qualify for a line of credit, you can put it on the line of credit with no interest for 1 full year. And so I only pay 50 some odd dollars a month. And I do that on auto pay, so I don't even have to worry about that it's getting paid or not. And then it will be paid, and that'll be that. And I like that idea that I don't have to put out the whole thing at once at Christmas time. So anyway, back to my weekend. So I had a great time. Lots of the ladies, we all brought different, when we do these kind of things, and I've done it before, we have planned meals. Everybody brings something for meals, for drinks, for snacks, for something. And everybody brings stuff, and we take turns supplying. And it's just a great time. You meet people you haven't met before. I met several stitchers that I have never met before. So hi, ladies. Hopefully you're watching. And it was a great time. And hopefully we will get it together so we can do it next November. We did do it during the Jingle Ball with the blessing of Lindy Stitches. We had the Jingle Ball up on the screen just for the shows and stuff. Any classes we did, we had to either watch in private or wait until after the Jingle Ball to watch, so we didn't do any of that. And I brought along gifts, and then lots of other people brought along gifts, which was lots of fun. So in my gifts, let's talk about what I gave out. I gave out one of these little bags, and I wasn't the only one that had this idea about these bags. And they're really cool. And I have to admit that I learned this from another stitcher from when we did my group meeting. They had these little bags, and I thought they were so cool. In my bags, I had multiples of things. Not all the bags have all the things. I kind of jimmied them out. But I made thread beds. This is the truck one. And so I made those for several of the bags, which was nice, Christmas themed. I went over to, and I think I showed this in my last video, I had bought Christmas tags, and I made thread drops out of them. So this happens to be one that's left over. It says Joy, and you got 12 of them. So several of those were in each of the bags. Each bag got a pair of little plastic scissors. These scissors I bought on Amazon. They are ultra sharp, which is cool. I like it so they can get in there and cut things. They are very sharp, and they have a cover. So each of them got a bag and a scissor, and then the different contents. Some people got pins that I made, and I was surprised to find this one still when I got home. This is one of the ones that wasn't picked, because this one had a double pins of mushrooms. So that's one of them. I don't have many of the pins left. Pretty much all of them are gone. So I have these. And then I still have my Santa pin. So I need to make more pins, but unfortunately I don't have any more of the sticks. I need to order some more of them. And then in some of the bags, there was also some floss. There was some silks for you. There was some dinky dyes and other things in some of the bags. So they got that as well. This is one of the ones. This is my friend Wendy gave me I think it was a half hank of the silks for you. So I shared it with some of the group in the bags. So very pretty. So I still have this one left, plus a whole bunch more. So that was lots of fun. That's what I gave. These are the things that I received. I also got one of these bags. And then different things. This particular bag, and there was a lot of times we didn't put our names in any of this. I don't know why I didn't put my name on mine. That was kind of not smart. But this one, I don't know who gave it to, but thank you very much. It's got a little snowflake scissor fob zipper pull thing. This was one of the items. It's just again, it could be a zipper pull. It could be your floss, what do they call it? Floss jewelry, floss but it was really cute. Someone else made a pin and I got it. Oh, adorable pin. This little jingle bell here, these were so cute. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's a little dinky bell and it was given to me from one of the stitchers, and she used it to put on the mouse, that Stacy Nash mouse that was part of the Jingle Ball class. So she hung it on, she put it in the, I think in the mouse's hand, which was adorable. So she gave me one. This is from Christy at gatheringstitch.com. I'm going to cover, there was a promo code in here. I'm going to cover it, but she gave us some finishing trims. There is all sorts of little buttons, there's little charms, there's little bulb clips, and there's a sticker you can't see in the back, but that was just in a little bag, which was so cute. Someone made a sled. Let me see. It says Christmas Soiree, and the initials are, it looks like JFJ 2025. I'm not sure who that was. Hopefully she'll comment below, tell me who she was. She stitched a little ornament sleigh. Isn't that adorable? I wanted to ask her where she got these sleds at, because you know that the company that supplies the small sleds for these patterns no longer is making them, which is hard to believe because we just started getting crazy with them. A little pair of scissors. And then this is from Christy. Christy Hines, that's who it is. Christy Hines is the one who is now designing for Buttermilk Basin. So Christy Hines, and she has a Flosstube video too, and I'll post that up here because I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But this, she gifted each of us this little small pattern from Buttermilk Basin that she designed. So I'm sure everybody heard that the Buttermilk Basin is now doing cross stitch, and Christy is one of the designers. So she put in here this little tag, which was so cute. It's got little bells on the bottom. It's got a pin with Santa on it. And then she gave out, and I gave out these too. I had given out these same tags right there. And then she has a key fob that says ho, ho, ho with the bell at the end. These tags were at Hobby Lobby, and they weren't punched. We all punched them, but they were in the Papercraft Christmas section. So during the seasons, when they're doing that seasonal aisle and they're setting it out for the seasons, always check in the paper crafting. These are chipboard, so they're quite strong and sturdy. They make awesome tags. So I made tags for people and I got some backs, which is awesome. And in fact, I'm going to show you what I did with my tags that's a little bit different, that I thought was perfect for what I'm doing. So I'll share that when I get to what I'm going to be working on. So I got all those, and then she had this little bag she put it in. And I almost want to take this bag and see if I can't add stitching to it somehow and turning it into a pillow. I may have to do that. I hate to let it go to waste. So I may turn that into a pillow and iron on a design. But in the meantime, I want to keep this in here so I remember when I use it that I want to share with Christy what I did with that little bag that she made. So let me get this stuff picked up real quick. So we had a wonderful time. It was fun. I'm sure I put on weight stuffing myself with all the goodies. Everybody made such wonderful little snacks and stuff. They were impressive. I did not write down what they were or how they made them. I certainly would love to get the recipe on some of them. One of them, they used puffed corn, not popcorn, but puffed corn. And they put, I think it was, they melted white chocolate or something and put sprinkles and laid it on a tray so it could harden. And it was so good. It was so good. I wanted to eat the whole container. I had to contain myself so other people got some to eat as well. So absolutely a great time. I got this. This was one we did like a little freebie table. And I found a mill hill there. There was actually 2 of them, but I didn't want to be greedy. So I ended up just taking one because I love doing mill hills. and doing the perforated paper. I enjoy it immensely. So, and this one looks like a um, it's not a perforated paper. It is a fabric one, but I will probably do that on perforated paper. I probably will. I'll enjoy doing that on perforated paper. And then the last thing, sorry, we got little socks. Somebody gifted us a little cup with a sock in it. And there was somebody else there that I wanted to mention. Tia. Tia was there. She is with, I want to say, oh, I don't even want to say it. It's a cross stitch shop. She is in Louisville, I believe. I'm going to post it up here, and I will post a link to her shop down below. Tia showed up, and I think she was the one that did the socks. I'm not positive. Maybe not. Maybe not. Tia gave us something else. What did Tia give us? Oh, a fabric pack. Where did it go? Oh, shoot. I remember now. I just don't know what I did with it. I'm looking. Anyway, she gave us a little, oh, there it is. This is what Tia brought. She gave us, sorry for the crinkles. Block your ears. Trying to get it open. Sorry. I'm going to slide it out. There we go. Get rid of that noisy paper. A crinkly paper. She gave us some fabric for finishing. Isn't that adorable? This is a beautiful Riley Blake Designs. It is by Sandy Gervais. Riley Blake, and there's quite a bit here. It's probably trying to see how big it is here. It's probably a fat quarter, but really cute fabric. Little piece of wool, some needles, and then some rickrack to match it. So thank you very much, Tia. That was so sweet of you. Again, I'll put Tia's shop down below. It was great. She didn't stay with us for the weekend, but she popped in at night after the shop was closed and spent a few hours with us. So that was lots of fun. And so I'm glad to be home again. You know, it's always great to go hang out with girlfriends and stuff, but I'm always happy to come back home and just strip off all my clothes, get comfy, and sit with my husband and relax. So, and see my babies, because all my dog and 2 cats miss me as well. They were all on top of me when I got home. Okay, so let's see. I don't even write anything down, so I'm just winging it here. So I have one fully finished. This is from, I think I finished this in 2021. Did I write down here what it was? It is New York Dreamer called Winter Time. So this is it here. I turned it into a pillow. This was a pattern that Barb from Lost and Floss had given me when Leanne was still around. She had sent me this pattern to do, and I finished it, but I never got it fully finished, so there it is. And I love this pillow. I got the trim on it. It's like a fuzzy trim. And then the backing. And then I've got my label on the bottom. And there it's just so cute. So I'm glad I got this done. And I love that it's winter time, so it can stay out past Christmas. So this will go out on one of my chairs out in my living room. And I will be happy to be looking at it all winter long. So that was a fully finish. I have 2 finishes. The first one was a stitch along that I did with Kathy at Crafty Cat Stitcher. I'll post her below if you don't watch her channel. And it is from the Cricut Collections. Oh, that's not going to show. The Cricut Collections Be Ye Thankful pattern. And she started stitching, Kathy started stitching on this, and that's when I had not even noticed it was on this pattern until she started stitching. And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. So there's the whole thing. There it is there. Right there. Oh, don't look at my nails. Some of my nails broke during the weekend. So, and I did a little color changing on it. And this is mine finished. I love it. I think it's so cute. So cute. And it is done on a, let's see, did I write what it's done on here? Nope, I think it is a 32 count because I did it with 2 threads. It's a 32 count, like a beige colored fabric. I love the little squirrels and the flower. It's so cute. I did change quite a bit. If you can see, my bottom of mine is quite darker than the picture. I had made some changes and then had to continue with those changes. So very happy that that's done. And then my second one that I finished is Autumn Lane Stitchery's Mystery Sal from, I want to say it's last year, but it really rolled into the beginning of this year. It was a winter sal, and I'll post a picture here of what it looks like. And it took me a while to get this thing going because this is the one where I had said that I started it. When I first started, they had to start in the middle. I wasn't paying attention, or it wasn't documented correctly. I don't know which. But I ended up stitching the design on the fabric the wrong orientation. So I had to rip the whole center out, which is the cabin and stuff and the trees, and then restitch them. And after that, I was a little miffed and I didn't want to work on it for quite a while. But I pulled this out in the month of November. This is one of the 4 things that I said I was going to work on in November. And I finally got it done and I love it. And this is also the one that I said I was going to put on the sleigh. So that's definitely going on the sleigh. But there it is in all its glory. Just beautiful. Love it, love it. And I'm excited. I want to get that sled out and get it painted and then get this mounted on there. So I am happy to have that done. And I have to say, I've always said from the get-go that I just do not like Picture This Plus, to stitch on Picture This Plus fabric. Sorry. But I have to say, this is an even weave. I want to say this is Lugana, and I absolutely love stitching on this. So I'm going to have to look and see if Picture This Plus has any more, if they still sell even weave, because if they do, I might buy some. This was a 32 count. It was called it was called Picture This Plus Seascapes Mystic. So it's like a blue, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a very navy blue with a dark modeling to it, a dark almost blackish blue modeling to it. It's really pretty. And I thought this was perfect for this, for that nice wintry, you know, scene in the evenings and stuff. So I really loved it. So I'm going to look for some more of that particular fabric. Okay, so now those are my finishes, 2 finishes. I have 3 whips that I'm going to share with you. The first one is Evergreen Sampler. And this one, I'm going to take it out of the plastic here. So I picked 5 items that I was going to work on in the month of November. Evergreen Sampler was one. The Autumn Lane Stitchery was one. Winter Sampler by Crochet Go-Go, that was the 3rd one. And then I picked the coffee shop with the dimensions, and I showed you guys that last time and told you I stitched on it for one day and I was just struggling with it, so I put it down. And then there was something else, and I can't remember. I'll look at my notes here in a second, but this is one of them. And this is called Evergreen Sampler. This is in a cross-stitch book from Craftways. It was called the Cross Stitch Christmas. Did I write down Cross Stitch Christmas? It was a 2012 book. It has a Santa on the front, and I will tell you that I saw Sarah, the Northwood Stitcher. Hi, Sarah. She showed a flip through of that book on her last video or the one previously. So this is, so it was sometime, it might have been this past week, which was Monday. It might have been Monday. So that would have been the 7th, December 7th, 2025, December 8th, 2025, whatever her thing is. Go on there if you want to see what the actual book looks like. And she flipped through, and of course that was one of the patterns. So this is being stitched on a 36 count white linen. I started this in March of 2021. I got a little bit done on this. I was a little miffed at this as well. I'm trying to think. I did some 1/1. I'm trying to see where, if I put 1 or 2 birds in here somewhere. I did do 2 birds. If I have my picture, I'll post a picture here of what it looked like before I started stitching on it. And I do believe that I put in 2 of the little red dinky birds. I might have put the deer in too. And then I did the stars in the sky, I believe. So I gotta get up. So this is it here. Oh, my lighting is gonna be way off. Yeah, okay. So you can see all the yellow stars in the sky. There is a little red bird right there. I've got a deer on the bottom there and a little red bird. I got to do something about lighting. This is horrible, right? If I do it this way, you can see it, but then you can't see everything. Sorry, guys. Anyway, this is what it looks like now. I don't think I did that tree on the bottom. I think that was there already, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think that was there already. I think I just put the stars in the sky and then I put the little red birds in. But again, when you're doing the 1/1 on 36 count, you have to kind of pay attention to what you're stitching on because it's a little tedious. So apparently the day I was working on this, it got a little on my nerves and I was like, okay, I can't do that right now. But at least I got some progress on it. So that was the first one. Then I worked on Winter Sampler by Crochet to Go-Go, and it looks like this. And I got quite a bit done on this. I'm going to need a board. Let me see. Do I have a board here somewhere? I usually keep one right next to me. Of course, I do not, so give me just a minute. Okay, I found myself a board because this is a long one, so it's got to be laid out. And I enjoyed stitching on this one. Let's see if I have some clips here so I can clip it on here. And so like I said, if I didn't already, I'm going to post a picture here, what it looked like. And this is what it looks like now. I have to hold it back because it's big. So I ended up running all the way down the end. I did the whole border. I only had a little bit of the border done. So I ran the whole border down and around. I'm still working on it. I have to add some other colors into it. And I might have done the squirrel this time, but although I don't think I did, I think I just mostly worked on the border. So I'm going to move it a little closer so you can see it. It is on a 36 count Vintage Country Mocha, being stitched 1/2, called for DMC, and this is what it's looking like. Just beautiful. Absolutely love it. I was thrilled to get the border to meet up right from the get-go, no problems. And it is just gorgeous. So I really would like to get this done before the end of winter. So I'm going to continue focusing on this piece because it means so much to me to get it done. And thankfully, a lot of the stuff on the bottom portion of this, they're all relatively large. They're animals and stuff and trees and a big strawberry bush. You can see all that stuff in the bottom there I have to get done. So not too bad. And then finish up on the border, getting all the borders done. So it looks like I've got the top and the one side the one side is almost done. We're down to the very end and I've got 2 sides I have to finish on it. It is so much fun. I love this piece. It took me a while to pick it back up again and start working on it, but once I did, I didn't want to put it down. So very happy with that. Put my board away. And I really want to get that one finished. And then the last one is Nature's Journey, which is the 4-part sal that was in the Just Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. I finally found my copy of it. I couldn't figure out what I had done with it, and then I kind of dug it out. It was inside a bag. I didn't know it was there, and you know how that is. Your stuff gets all over the place and you can't find it. Now I'm trying to find the pattern. So I'm still working on part 1. Where is it? Never where you want it to be. Let's see. It's like, okay, it's just going to give me a struggle all the way through. I don't even see it listed there. I'm sure this is the right issue. Christmas. Oh, it's not the right issue. Never mind. Wrong one. I'll post a picture here. I will post a picture here of what it looks like because I thought I found the right magazine. I didn't. Oh well. And I did do more work on this. So, and this is where this is. And I'm going to stand up again because this is so pretty. I want to show you everything. So look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I think the last time I stitched on, I talked about the bee and stuff. I did the nest. So I finished the nest. I did this one here, this butterfly, and I think that little plant up there, but let me move it up close so you can see it. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh. I love it. And of course the fabric, if I pull it back, this is what the fabric looks like. It's a dark gray brown, but it gets washed out as we get closer, but it is all just popping off this piece. So absolutely love this. I'm going to pull this out probably again today and work on it. Yep, I have to go like that for you to see actually the dark color of the fabric. But absolutely love this. This is just, it is all that in a bag of chips for me. So that was my 3 whips that I worked on. I have 3 new starts. I started Frosty Tiny Town because I showed you guys last time that I had gotten the display in order to display these, and it's still sitting there not painted, but I haven't finished this either, so no big deal. This is Frosty Tiny Town. And I am doing this on a piece of 32 count Bestitch Me Magic Gray Lugana 2/2. And this is where I've gotten with it. I've just got some trees in. Fold this up a little. There we go. So I just got some trees in so far, and I think I changed colors already. I did. You see that very dark green tree? That's a color I put in there. That is not one of the normal colors, the regular, the called for colors. So I added a darker green because I really wanted a little bit of a darker green in some of the trees. So I just have that on a little strip of fabric that I'm sewing. It's big enough for what I need. And I started that on November 21st of this year. The second one is Christmas Village. I started that on the 23rd. So all 3 of these I started in the month of November. And that's what I mean by startitis. This here, I saw Donna stitching on the hill, stitching, and she is, I think she's almost done at this point, but I've always wanted to stitch this. I started watching her and she would show it and she would show it, and I'm like, I really need to get this kitted up and I need to get it started because there's nothing easier to start than a prairie schooler because DMC threads. Don't have to worry about any fancy floss. I've got all the DMC threads. I just need to start it. So this is it here. And it's called Christmas Village. And I mean, the multitude of trees there. It's a ton. So I started this on the 23rd. and it's on a piece of Bestitch Me sand dollar. It is a 20 count sand dollar by Bestitch Me, and I've got a thread hanging, but this is the way it looks right now. So I started doing the border. So I wanted to make sure that my border was okay. So it's here, and then I've got it running all the way down to there. And those are all half stitches running down the side, and then I will get it stitched. But it is, I'm going to fold it. There we go. Look at that. I love it. It is so cute. So cute. Got my little horse and sled in there, my one little house with the logs stacked up, and the trees behind the house. That's as far as I've gotten so far. And I am loving it so far. It's a joy to work on for me. And I'm doing it 1/1 on 20 count. And then the last thing that I started, and I'm going to take this out of the plastic too, I started on Thanksgiving. And it is Harvest Moon by Annie Bees. When I first saw this, I immediately went over to 1323 Stitch, I believe, and I kitted the whole thing up, floss and everything except for fabric. And it is just an amazing house. Love it, love it, love it. And I am stitching this. I'm on a Bestitch Me run right now. This is 40 count Bestitch Me linen called Not Another Sampler. I'm doing it 1 thread over 2. And this is as far as I've gotten with it so far. I'm going to fold it because it's just going to be easier. And I've got a thread hanging on this one too, sorry. But that's where I'm at with it so far. I've just got that very corner I'm working on. And that's the fabric about right there. It's like it got a tan, it's almost, for me, it's like an orangey, it looks orange and tan model to me, which I was kind of surprised because it's supposed to be a sampler. And I'm like, what am I going to use that for? And then it sat for a while, and then I saw this pattern, and I'm like, oh, that's it. That's what I'm going to use it for. So there it is. So there we go. That is all of my stitching that I've done so far in the last couple of weeks. I was working on the Crochet a Go-Go Winter Sampler when I was at that little get-together with the girls. So that was my choice to work on. For the month of November, I have done, let's see, where are we? November. So for the month of November, I have done 18,370 stitches. For the year, 109,239. I made myself up a project tracker. I have a yearly one and a monthly one. This is pretty messy, but this is pretty much what it looks like. And I still have to change the date. I've got to figure out, fix it. If anyone's interested in these to print out, I will put them in my Instagram. And if you go to my name on my Instagram and go to my LinkedIn, you'll see it there where you can print these out if you want them. I'll update them before this video hits. It'll already be updated to the right dates for next year. And it comes in 2 pages. You certainly can print extra pages if you want. And on the bottom, I keep track of everything of what I'm stitching. And there's also monthly ones. So if you want one for each of your charts to keep track of the days that you're stitching, what your count of your stitches, a lot of these I will put, let me see, for the ones that I don't track. Okay, so the ones that I don't put in Markup RXP, what I will do is I will put a little star in the month that I worked on that. You could also put a little check mark. You could put how many days you worked on it that month. Whatever you want in the little box. So I will have these posted in my Instagram in my LinkedIn, and you can print those out if you'd like. So I'll be glad to share those with you. Okay, so that was all my stitching for this month. I have plans of what I'm going to stitch for next month. And one of the things that I'm going to start, and I've already got it kitted up, is the Gift of Peace Santa by Lavender and Lace. A lot of you know that I stitched up Santa of the Forest, which was lavender and lace, and I absolutely adore him. He is hanging by my Christmas tree right now. And so I wanted to stitch up some others. I was watching Laura La D Stitches, and she was stitching this one on the fabric that I purchased, and absolutely beautiful. So that's what he looks like. And so I decided I wanted to do both of these. I wanted to do this one and the other Santa one. There's two of them. And so I've got this all kitted up, and I'm going to stitch it on the same fabric she's using, which is a 32 count driftwood Belfast linen by Stephanie. So it is a brown like this. And if you haven't seen her Santa, you need to go check out her channel and look at her Santa, because it's absolutely gorgeous. And when I was talking about how I did my thread drops, I wanted to show you how I did my Santas, because this has a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It has 14, so 28 colors in this Santa. And if I had put one color on each thread drop, my thread drop would be a mound. What I ended up doing is punching 2 holes. So, and on the back, my writing isn't all that, but that's what I do it in pencil. So I don't know if you can see that or not. I write what it is on each one, because I like to reuse my thread drops. If they're sturdy enough, I like to be able to erase it and write something else in there to use for the next project. But it worked out really great that these were wide enough where I could put 2 colors on each one and have them labeled on the back in pencil, and that I can tell what's on each side, because I pull from the back when I pull, because I've got the little knot to the back, so I have to look in the back to pull. So that's all my floss. Look at all those beautiful colors that are going to be in that. Hard to believe. You see pinks and stuff there. You'd be like, where is there pink? But there actually is pinks in his cheeks. Oh, sorry guys. In the fruit that's the basket he's holding and stuff. So I want to stitch this, and my plan is to start this. I'll be starting this on Christmas Day, and my friend Wendy, my cross stitch bestie friend, is stitching it with me, and we're both starting on Christmas. And then of course my birthday's coming up. It's on the 31st, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to stitch. So I've started pulling things out and looking and trying to figure out what I wanted to stitch next. And I always want to do a birthday start. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm thinking about starting on my birthday. And the first one is a Brenda Gervais. It's the Maker and the Mender. And it looks like this. Get the glare off of it. Well, you guys can see it there. There you go. So I'm thinking about that one. This one is 178 by 128. They did it on Barb's Blend R&R. It's got DMC Weeks Classic Colorworks and Gentle Arts threads. I certainly can order any threads that I need through 123, because they are the quickest shipping around. So I was thinking about that one. And then I pulled out another Brenda Gervais and thought it would be nice to start on these pillows, which are Seasons of the Heart. And so I would start the spring pillow, which is really cute. And then I could start with spring and get that rolling. And I don't necessarily think I'll use those little tags that are included in the book. I think I might just stitch the words on the actual pillow. In spring, summer, I'll find a font, maybe out of one of her other books that matches, that will fit in there. So I thought about that. And then I started going through my PDFs and stuff, and I came across some Barbara Anna. So this one here was a Barbara Anna Sal. Can't remember when, but I love this. I have never done a Barbara Anna, and that shows all 4 seasons. I think it's one of the Dreaming of series, Dreaming of something Sal, I can't remember, but I have that one. And then this one here, which is also a PDF. It is She Mad Hatter Dreams, another Barbara Anna, but not as big. Sorry about the lines through it. That's my printer being difficult. And I kind of like that because that's like Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter kind of thing. And I have another Fancy That Elf that I need to get busy on, but I probably won't do that. I don't know if I want to stitch Christmas after my birthday. So I'm thinking of those. What do you guys think about the dreaming one? Think I should start that one? It's got a lot of colors, but they're all DMC, so it's not going to be an issue. And I think it's so adorable. I absolutely love it. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Barbara Anna. I might, if I don't do this one, I might start that in the spring. Although I have plans that might screw up. And then my friend Wendy gave me some patterns. I'm going to roll over here and get them. So Wendy was out shopping. She went with her husband on a trip, and he took her some cross-stitch stores. And so I asked her to pick up a few things for me, and then she ended up gifting them to me for my birthday. So thank you, Wendy. But look at this bag. This bag might be full of kittens. Yes. So that would be fun. And there's a pen in here. I think this is one of the shops. Let's see. Sorry about the noise. It is Big Bad Wolf's House of Stitches. So that's what the pen says. And she picked these up for me, and then she wouldn't let me pay for them, and she gifted them to me. So I have Winter Trio, Brenda Gervais. Spring Trio, Brenda Gervais. This is the last one I was missing in the summer house, the summer schoolhouse Abecedarian lessons. I was missing the last one, which is the XYZ, so she picked that up for me. And then a Prairie Schooler Christmas Traditions, because I really wanted to start what was on the bottom of this, which was the Nativity. Now I'm going to have to start that another time. Maybe I can, see, I'm going to start making plans again to start things that I'm not supposed to be starting anything. But maybe I could start that on Easter and have it done by Christmas. I don't know. I don't know, because my plan is, and of course, you know how I am with plans. They fly away like in the night. My plan was to start next year with purchases, limiting myself to $25 a month purchases. So that's it. If I don't, I can, collect $25 a month for several months if there's something I want that's more than the 25, but try to limit my purchases to 25 a month because I have just gotten out of control. I have lots and lots of stitching. I have lots and lots of fabric. I don't need anything unless I want to start a project and I need a floss or something. But I'm going to try my best. And I've tried this before. I've lasted, I want to say 5 or 6 months last time I tried to do this before I crashed and said I can't do this. But this does not include my memberships and things. So I have a membership in Bestitch Me. That does not include that. That will continue. And I also am part of Teresa Kogut's Patreon. That will continue. Besides that, limit to 25 a month. We'll see how long I last. I may not even make it through January. We'll see. So that was one. The second one was, see, I should write these things down. No new starts. No new starts. Okay, in order to have a start, I have to have 2 finishes to do a start. That was my other one. I have to finish 2 things before I can start something else. But most of my stuff is big things. Big things. So I don't know if that's going to happen either. But I really would like to narrow down what I have. I have close to 40 whips right now. That's really way more than I ever wanted to have. But I just feel this urge. I've got all this stuff sitting here. And if I feel like starting something, I'm going to start it. But I'm going to try to curb that and get my whips back down again. So my plan is No new starts unless I complete 2. Complete 2, start 1. Complete 2, start 1. I don't know if that's going to work either, but we'll see. We'll see if I have the stamina, if I have the willpower to work these things out. We will see. Because I have just gone crazy and I have lots more kitted up, which means if I wanted to start any of the kitted projects, I need to do it before the end of the year, or I'm not going to be able to start them because I have several Teresa Kogut's kitted up. I have some other things kitted up. So I don't know. I don't know. So that's what's going on. Me personally, there was lots of people commented about my story about ending up in the emergency room. Hold on. Make sure my mic's still working. Because last time it cut out in the middle of telling the story. So there's several people that asked me to retell the story about how I ended up in the urgent care. And I'm horrible at repeating stories. So it may come out a little different than it came out last time. I don't know. But several weeks back, I haven't had issues with my back in quite a while. I mean, you get my little aches and pains and stuff. I'm going to tell more than I told last time. Back in my early 20s, I injured my back severely at work. I worked for a company, which I don't think is around anymore. I haven't seen them, called Lohmann's. So if somebody knows if Lohmann's is still open, normally they're in the high end. They were a high end company and like a Abercrombie or a Saks or stuff like that, Lohmann's. And I was the office manager for Lohmann's. And so we would get trucks full of clothing comes in. It was all clothing and accessories, bags, clothing, shoes, things like that. And it had some men's, but mostly it was women's. And they did discount. So how they did their discounts was they would buy manufacturers' leftovers, and they would cut the name tags out. So you didn't know what brand you were buying, but the sizing and all the content stuff would be there, but you couldn't see the name of the company, and they sold it at a discount. And so I had bought a lot of clothes from them back then. I don't have any of it now, but anyway, I was the office manager. I worked in the office. And when the trucks would come in, it would be these boxes that we called coffins because they were shaped like a long rectangle that were full of clothes. And we would have to take them and pull them across the bay into the processing area and then open them up, hang all the clothes, take all the plastic wrap off, do all the things you do with processing clothes. Well, this one time, the manager wanted everybody in the back to help, everybody, and that included me. And so I would do that before. It wasn't a problem. I would go back even on my own. If I was caught up with my work, I'd go help them process the clothes and stuff. But I didn't normally pull it off the bay and pull it into the floor. This particular day, that's what I was doing. I was grabbing the boxes and they're strapped, and I would pull it across the floor all the way to where we needed in the processing area. And after pulling probably 20 some odd boxes of it, I hurt my back. And it was pretty bad. It was really bad. So I left and I realized I did something, but it wasn't as bad as I realized I did. So I left and I went back to my office and I tried to sit down and just tried to rest my back, figuring, okay, I just pulled a muscle, yada, yada, yada. And it was starting, as I was sitting there, it started getting worse because as you sit still or anything, it's going to stiffen up. And so I was there and the manager came back through and he said, what's up? And I said, well, I hurt my back a little. I'm just resting it for a little bit. Well, we need you back in there. He said, we need to get this done. I said, I understand, but I injured my back. I said, it's hurting me. And so he wanted to argue with me. And I said, well, I'm leaving. I'm going home because it's, I think I did something to it. So he wasn't overly concerned about it. I was overly concerned about it. Needless to say, months and months later, I was on workman's comp. I injured 2 vertebrae in my back. I damaged 2 of the vertebrae in my back, and I was laid up for about 18 to 20 months. And when I say laid up, I could barely move. They had me in a brace. Um, I was on medications. I couldn't work at all, couldn't do anything. And it was so bad that I couldn't even get out of the bed. I remember um, I was in bed one time. I'm sure it was more than once, but this one just sticks in my mind. I had a waterbed. Back then, waterbeds were really big. Everybody had a waterbed. And sorry, that's my phone. And so in order for me to get up off the waterbed, I would have to roll off onto the floor, my hands and knees, and then try to stand up. Well, this one time I rolled, and I was really stiff that day. I rolled off the bed. I ended up on my hands and knees, and I could not stand up. I was stuck there. I could not move. And it was so excruciating. And so eventually, my stepson at that time heard me yelling and came and was able to get me back onto the bed. But I did some major damage on my back. So of course the company, I hired an attorney, the whole 9 yards, and they eventually had to settle with me. But that put me out of work for several years, and I really was needed to have back surgery. That the doctors were telling me you need back surgery. I did not want to have back surgery because I really felt like it was an iffy kind of thing then. I feel like it's an iffy kind of thing now. I've heard people with good stories and bad stories with back injuries and with surgeries. Now it's a little bit better than it was back then in the 1980s. But I was only in my 20s when this happened. So anyway, come to now, through the years, my back, is iffy here and there. Sometimes it'll be a problem, sometimes it won't. Well, when I got sick with COVID, that's when my back started again. So the sickness and COVID, I ended up with COVID, I ended up with COVID pneumonia, and I ended up with all these health issues, which caused me to have thyroid issues. I went into Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune disease that I have. And my back, not even because I injured my lower back. So now my lower back, my middle back, and my neck all have bulging discs and bone spurs from COVID. I know that sounds odd, but I didn't have any of them before COVID. This all happened right after COVID. I started developing all these issues, and so uh, back in November, when I was telling this story, I was taking the dog out, not having any issues with my back whatsoever. I bent down to unleash him, and I couldn't stand back up. My back immediately went, my lower back, and I was like in excruciating pain. So I got myself straightened back out again because it takes quite a bit to straighten back out once you get like that. And went and sat on the sofa. I have heating pads. I did everything that I needed to do. It wasn't getting any better. I went to bed that night with my husband. He helped me into bed. And when we woke up in the morning, of course, he asked me, is it getting any better? I said, I don't feel like it's getting any better. I may have to go to the emergency room. He said, you want me to help you up? And I'm like, I can't get up. I just can't get up. And he's like, well, let me help you up. And I'm like, I don't know. He said, well, I'm going to call emergency. I'm going to call, 911, have ambulance come get you. And I'm like, no, don't call the ambulance. I don't want them because I sleep in the nude. I said, I don't want them coming here with me laying in the nude and them trying to pick me up off this bed. That's no. I said, just give me a little time to work this out. So eventually he was able to get me onto my feet, and I went into the bathroom, and I decided I needed to go to the bathroom. So I went and sat down, and I was fine for a minute or two. And then I moved my body a certain way, and all of a sudden I started getting lightheaded. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I felt like I was going to collapse to the floor. I've never had that much excruciating pain in my entire life that I felt like I was going to throw up and pass out. And I was scared to death. And my husband's panicking, and he's like, I'm going to call, please don't call. Please don't call them. I said, give me a minute. I said, if I collapse, then call them. But if I don't want them taking me off the toilet either. And so it took quite a while for me to be able to relax my body enough so the pain would subside enough so that I could get up off the toilet. So he helped me get up off the toilet. He walked me back, put me back to the bed, and then I said, well, I said, I really don't want to go to the emergency room because they charge an arm or leg. You go there, you're going to pay thousands of dollars because they're going to test you for everything under the sun that they think they need to do, including scans. And I didn't want to go through that because I knew what it was. I pinched the nerve in my back, and as bad as I possibly could have pinched it without passing out. And so I said, let's go to urgent care. So he helped me get dressed. We got in the car, and that was not an easy feat either because I couldn't lift my legs to put them in the car. And we went to the urgent care in town where we are. We had the appointment, and I told him, I said, you go in and tell them that I'm here, but I'm not getting out of this car until the room is ready because I won't be able to sit down in there. So that's what we did. So he went in, he registered me in, and they called me on my phone and said, okay. And I went in, and by then it wasn't as bad. It wasn't excruciating like it was. So between all those times of me moving and other things, it wasn't, I'm going to pass out bad. And so I told the nurse practitioner what had happened, that I bent down. I think I pinched a nerve in my back, what happened in the bathroom. And she, of course, the common questions is, did you collapse? Did you pass out? No, I did not. I said, I know this is what it is. I have damage to my back. And so she did. She gave me steroid injections in my behind. And it took probably 4 days, 5 days for it to be enough where it was, that I could move around comfortably again. So not fun at all. Not fun at all. I don't look forward to getting older and then what's going to happen with my back and how it's going to be. I have put on weight because I am home now, permanently disabled. And so, of course, I've already put on weight, which is not good. And I'm worried about how my back's going to be because now not only is my lower back an issue, which, like I said, hadn't bothered me for the longest time, but it's starting to bother me more and more. But my middle back, where my bra strap runs, there's bulging discs there, which I never had before COVID, never had an issue. And then I have bone spurs in my neck. So like I have a hard time sewing on my machine. So if I want to quilt or anything, I have to do it in short. I can't do an all-day event because my back is killing me. Right now, my middle of my back is hurting because I was moving around with all this showing stuff. But, I'm not going to stop doing what I love doing because I'm in pain. I don't want to stop. I try not to take that many pain meds. I have some narcotics, but I don't take them unless I'm really bad. And I want to keep doing what I do. I still want to stitch. I still want to quilt. I want to show. And I just remembered I forgot to show you guys something. And it's good. So I want to show it. So I'm going to let me write this down. Hold on. So I don't have to, so I can finish my story. There. That way I won't forget. Because let me tell you, as soon as I finish talking, I'm going to forget what I wanted to show you. So I do the best I can, Some days are really bad. Some days are good. There are times when I get sick. I can't do any of this. So that's why you don't see me for months on end. Sometimes, this last few weeks, my husband came home with a cold. And of course he had to give it to me. Even though we didn't kiss or anything for the whole time he was sick, when he started getting better, all of a sudden I end up with it. And thankfully, I didn't end up with this as bad as he did because he was coughing and sneezing and the whole shebang. Mine is, I had a little bit of a sore throat and I had congestion running. So, of course, I went to the pharmacist. I got some Sudafed, which helped a lot with clearing up the congestion and stuff. So I didn't have all that runny nose and into my throat and all the other good stuff. But I'm doing much better now. I'm feeling pretty good. And it's a day-to-day thing. It really is. Let me show you what I wanted to show you. Hold on. I'm going to roll my chair again. I don't want to get up and show you my big butt. Okay. This is an embroidery project that I started. I was going to take this with me to the weekend, but I didn't. But this is a series of 4. Do I have all 4 of them here? I don't. Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. They have, I'm sure a lot of you know about her. She's got a Facebook, not a Facebook. She's got a blog that she shares free patterns with. Hold on, I'm going to get them. Hold on. Okay. She has a blog that she shares patterns with, cross stitch patterns and other things. And then she shared these drawings. And I think these were in 2022 or 2023, but they were snowman line drawings. And I absolutely loved them. And at that time, I wanted to turn them into embroidery, line embroidery, and then into a quilt. So this is what they look like. So, and this is print. I'm going to have to show that now, Kim, because you're going to ask me what this is. Hold on. Because I know darn well somebody's going to ask me, what is that if you have that stuck with that? Okay. So these are line drawn pictures, and they're snowmen. And everybody knows I love snowmen. So that's 1. That's 2. The whole family. And there's 1 in a sled. And then, of course, the one I am stitching. And these are all printed on. So I take them and I print them on this stick and stitch. This is what it looks like. It is ideal for hand embroidery, cross stitch, punch needle, and quilting, where you can actually put the design right on this paper and then punch through it, stitch through it, whatever you want to do, and then it washes away. So you put it in water and it dissolves. So I've started my first one, and this is it. My needle's kind of hanging here, but that's okay. This is where I've started. And you can see right here, it's all, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh, let me get up. Right, it's blue. You see all the stitching? So I'm stitching it all in blue. And if I flip it this way, you definitely can see it. There it is there. There's all the stitching that I've done. But I'm stitching them on, I think these are 13-inch squares of white fabric. And then I'm just doing I want to say it's like a back stitch. That's all it is a back stitch. So I'll outline the whole thing, and then I will take it and stick it in water and dissolve this pattern off of here. And it will just be the stitching left on the white fabric, which is a white Kona fabric. And you can do it with all different colors. You can do all different colors on them. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm doing mine all in blue, and I'm using Valdani threads. This is number 1. So I have 3 of these little rolls here. And it's number 120, which is like a muted, not a muted, like a dusty blue, like a, yeah, I want to say it's dusty color, but it's not light. It's like a medium blue. You can't see that. Oh, anyway, that's what I'm using. And I want to stitch all them up, and it's quick. It's quick. I think the little bit that I did there, I worked on it maybe 15 minutes, if that. So, and then I put it away to go on my little trip. And now I want to pull it back out and do it. So this stuff is great. This is from Sulky, and it is called Stick and Stitch Printable, Self-Adhesive, and Wash Away. So it tells you how to do it and everything, and that's what it looks like. So I also want to do this is oh my gosh, my mind is drawing a blank. It is a needle book. And this is the design here with the bird. That's the top of the design. And then this is the bottom of the design. So it looks like that. And then this is the little scissor case that goes inside of it. So that's one that I want to do. And I'll probably do that in colors like this is, the same type of colors. So I have that one, and then I've got this other winter one that is Joy to the World that I want to do just like it is in all reds and make it into a pillow. So lots of embroidery fun. Embroidery is, especially line embroidery, there's lots of different embroidery that you can do. This is just going to be drawing the lines, tracing the lines in a back stitch. You certainly can do specialty stitches and fill in stuff, but for me, I'm just doing back stitch right now, and it's very enjoyable to do. So I have a hoop that's big enough for it to fit in, so that, it's just an inexpensive hoop. And what I'll probably have to do is take this out and wrap this interior hoop and then put it back in, because it's sliding just a little and I don't want it to slide. So I'm going to have to wrap that hoop. But I wanted to share that with you too. I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else. I've been talking for an hour. I think that's long enough. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful holiday season. I will be back in 2 weeks, which means it'll be, right? Let's see. Let me look at my calendar real quick. That means I will be back on right after Christmas. Today's the 12th, the 26th. So Christmas Day, and then, yep, I may be the 27th, which is a Saturday, depending on what's going on, because Christmas Day is on a Thursday. I normally film on Christmas Day is on a Thursday. I normally film on either Thursday or Friday. It might be hard because that's Christmas and the day after. But I will try to make that happen. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. I know I have talked before about showing some finishing videos. All that kind of went to the wayside when I got sick. And I still have to finish my pilgrims, even though it's not Thanksgiving. I still want to get them done. So at some point I will attempt to, weird pin, it won't go in. I think it's broken. Oh, sorry. I'm going to try to do some. I have to do some cording and to do the pilgrims, and it has to be 3-color cording. And I can't. There are no videos out there since Vonna took all her videos down. There are 2-color cordings. There's not a 3-color. I'm going to have to make my 3-color. I'm again. Don't count on me on when, where, or how, but I need to probably film a video on how to do 3-color cording. And so I can do the cording, because the cording I'm putting on them is 3 colors. So at some point I will get all this stuff done. It's just a matter of when. I still haven't finished my quilt block that I showed, my wall hanging with the heart. That was the quilted one that I said I got the kit from Primrose Cottage. It's still not quilted. It's not. I am such a huge procrastinator. Sad but true. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, listening to me ramble on and on and on. My contact information is down below if you have any questions about anything I showed today. Let's see, what else? Thank you for coming by and visiting with me. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Like the video, it helps me out. There is a thing called the hype button now. If you will see it in the first 5 to 7 days of a video. If you see down below where you see all those little, where the like is and stuff, if you scroll along, you'll see one that says hype. That helps also the channel. And I think that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a blessed and happy Christmas. I was about to say Thanksgiving. Have a blessed and Merry Christmas. And I will see you right after Christmas. And then by then, I should have an idea of what I'm going to stitch for my birthday. We'll see. Bye.